of the things we know is that the more grounded we become, the more we get into who we truly are,
Yeah.
the larger will seem the challenges because we have to experience to see whether we can apply what is we have been learning or whether we will go back to our default. So
Yeah.
it is necessary that those challenges come. And when they come, it is absolutely necessary that you go to your Befitment toolkit.
Well,
Otherwise,
going
but
to, I just
yeah,
thankful for the Befitment toolkit. Let me say that. But sometimes it's just like, you fall down and you scrape your knee and it's like, you're taking your, you have to get up, you know what it is, but it's just going through the process of getting, like when you get older and your bones become, and it harder to get up from on the ground. So is you have to get up, but it's just going through the mental, it's more mental, the mind part of it, of
it is.
and restructuring, and you know better and not going back to the old habits, because now one of the things is they could identify the old habits, and you're not supposed to be there, but sometimes it's just navigating through the murky waters.
But one of the things, Lisa, when you find yourself in that situation, how do you speak to yourself? What are some of the things you tell yourself about where you are? Is it that you sometimes they say that a little bit of knowledge in the hands of a fool, I think was an old thing, is a dangerous thing. And for us who might know a little bit more. We have some techniques, we have some tools. Sometimes we may not give ourselves the grace that we would have given to other people when we see them falling, because many times we are champions of other people and we allow them to sit where they are for as long as they need to sit where they are. But when for ourselves, we turn to and say, well, we should know better and we know this and we know that, when sometimes life is just a rhythm.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be up and sometimes they'll be down. And in the down, there's time to rest, reflect, recuperate, and go again. So are you giving yourself that grace when or are you going and saying, I should do this and I should know this because I know what to do?
I,
What are
I,
you,
I
what are
am
you
the
saying to
latter.
yourself?
I am of the latter.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So how is that working for you?
and the thing about it is, is I'm not giving myself the grace that I know I should give myself the grace, because you feel like I said, you know better, you should be doing better, but it's also coming to that point of learning how to give yourself the grace, and learning that it is okay. Because I find like sometimes it's like you're just stuck in that rut for so long, and it's just like you want to get out the rut, you want to do better. So I think part of it is still the doing instead of the
Mm,
being. I need
okay.
to do this to change this. I need to, instead of allowing it to just flow and go with the flow, I still feel like I need to do in order to ac- get the change. And then another thing I too for me is like I still struggling with, because I know I just think differently, or because I, you know, had a certain position and I know how this should work. I think like other people should, you know, why are you doing it like this? This is not right. This is the best way to do it, instead of really understanding that they are doing what they're doing, and it's up to you to allow it to bother you if they're doing what they're doing. So
And in the moment that you are going through all of that mental rumination, Lisa, are you even remembering to breathe?
sometimes.
See, so sometimes is what we have to
But
remember
it's
because
not sometimes in the sense that, okay, like for me, I go to work as soon as you clock in, it's nonstop until you clock out. You know what I mean? And like you have managers where it's like, okay, I'm coming to you, I'm telling you, like I'm overwhelmed, this. But is once again sitting down, taking the time, having that. soul to soul conversation, and you're seeing things changing. I've seen things because they came and they kind of sat with me and understood what I was going through. So things are changing. So I think part of it too is, once again, stop doing and know what you want, and let it just kind of flow instead of trying to manipulate the situation.
Just do like the children. Just relax.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard
Just
to
relax
relax.
and let it be. So I'm
Mhm.
seeing Mr. SGL, I'm seeing L, and we have resolved our technical issues. See, Adana is back. So, Adana, welcome, welcome. Your mic is still off, though.
Yes, guys, I would like to apologize for the little technical mix up. It was definitely not on our end. We did look into it, it was rectified. And again, we apologize for the inconvenience.
So good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
In
evening.
my case, it wasn't your fault at all. Since five something, I'm waiting to log in while I'm doing something else, and the time just flew. And I'm so glad that the mistake happened because it was the messages that pop up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't sign in yet. So I appreciate you all. So I'll hang tight. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I have a question. How are you all today? Like, how are you? If you were to ask yourself that question right now in this moment, how are you?
Relieved.
Okay.
Relieved that the technical part is taken care of.
Anyone else? If you were to ask yourself in this moment, how are you? What is the first word that comes to mind?
I can agree with Catherine. Relieved, because for once I feel like I was just talking to Catherine. It's kind of like you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So
Okay.
Yes, I am good and improving daily. So we have to remember not all the time everything is going to stay at one level. You're going to be ups, you're going to be down, and remember, at the end of the day, everything is going to get better.
Most definitely. Anyone else? How are you?
So my answer is a bit mixed. I don't know if I got to share that the last time. Maybe the same thing really is both being hopeful and also feeling the weight of everything that is going on around me. And I find that despite everything that is going on around me, both politically on my in my homeland, what is happening in the United States, what's happening in my own personal life, it's almost like I feel the weight. And at the same time, I feel so blessed, so hopeful, and feel that despite what I might be willing to complain about, I have so much abundance. So the analogy I use is if I have a car that is giving me a problem, I smile because that means I have a car, as opposed to someone who don't even have a bike. So again, I try to look at my lot through those lenses because I am blessed. I have more than I deserve. And yes, I deserve more. And at the same time, I have more than I deserve. So I'm accepting and I feel the blessedness. So thank you.
Okay. All right, I've taken one more before I call somebody name. If I were to ask you, how are you right now in this moment? What is the first word that comes to mind? Paula, are you there?
Yes. I
Paula,
was just waiting for you to call in there because I know you're on
okay. So how are you?
Um, well, Well, for today, restful. I had plans to do other things today, and I didn't. I didn't do all that I say I would plan to do. Save and except I went for a little walk this morning,
Okay.
and I said there's no rush to do anything, and I just lay around the bed and just relax. I'm in a good place. I suppose you all would have known my husband passed, and it's 1 month.
Oh,
So, it's something new for me after 39 years of marriage. Um, but I'm in a good place because I know that I have to move on, and as people would tell me that I still have things to do. While sometimes you might feel that you're doing things too quickly and you're supposed to, I mean, everybody would grieve in a different way, but I have no regrets. I had 39 good years. So what more do I need? I just have to move on. I mean, his memory is there. The house is not the same, but it's a learning for me that life goes on, and everybody, as they say, every tub has to sit on its own
bottom.
bottom. Right. So he would have done his part. He would have done his leg, his relay, and I just have to continue on mine. And I make no apologies for saying that. Some people think, well, maybe I should be still holding my belly and rolling, and that's not happening. You know. And I started back like this week doing things. I was in a dance class. I only started back this week. And I think I need to get up and continue, continue the journey. I still have my leg to run,
Complete.
my race to run. Yes. So I'm in a good place.
Okay. I am very, very, very happy to hear that. And even, life goes on. It is very difficult, especially at the beginning. It really, really is difficult, especially if it is something that happens suddenly. But when it happened to me, the only thing I tell you that took me through that period was focusing on what the next step is. You see, trying to think about tomorrow and next week and next month and next year, it used to bring on a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety that is really unnecessary. So I would focus on whatever these small steps are. Okay, Adana, you're up. Eat breakfast, like simple, simple things. Brush your teeth, bathe, like simple things. Check on my father, check on my sister. Do whatever you have to do, little running around, because you have some running around to do after. And that is what really, really carried me through. You see, trying to think too far into the future and how this is going to work and how this is going to work out and what's going to happen now. It would end up frustrating you even further. So you really have to. And just as you said in the moment, today I had plans to do LMNOP, and the only plan that came to me was rest. Then so be it. Rest. And even for the other persons, when I ask the question, if I were to ask you today in this moment, how are you right now? What is the first word that comes to mind? What I recognize is that with all the answers, everybody sounds as though their feet are firmly planted in the sense of they are experiencing things, but they are able to manage themselves within the experience. So even if it may not be fully at 100, you are able to really look at yourself within whatever you're experiencing, and you have the tools to refer to in order to ground yourself. Because if you were not able to do so, you would be going with the wind. Wherever the breeze blow, you would end up there. And in that instance, you would always be uprooted because the experience would be defining you. And within all the responses, I recognize that you all are experiencing, but you all are, the breeze blowing, your tree might be bent a little bit, you might be missing some leaves, some branches, but you all are generally okay. And you all are really in a good space. I know there is no good and bad, but I'm just saying you all are in a really, really good space where you are able to maintain yourself. And of course, if you ever reach a point where you find that, okay, I need some additional support, please remember we are just a phone call, a message, very short distance away. So please feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out. And because that you all are sounding like, because in comparison to when you all now logged on to now, you all are sounding like you are certainly in a different place. And because of that, as it relates to tonight's topic, what are some of the small adjustments that you have made that created big shifts in your life? You all have certainly been making adjustments to be where you are right now. What are some of these?
Hi, if I may go. First for me is creating boundaries. Um, it's at one time I found that, when you say no, you feel like you're disappointing other people, not realizing that you're sometimes you don't want to do something, but you would say yes because you don't want to offend or you want to be the nice girl. And I'm able to say no now and not feel any and not be apologetic. Somebody asks something, no, I'm sorry. I wouldn't even say I'm sorry because I'm not really sorry. I'll just tell you, unfortunately, I won't be able to do X or Y. Recently, by the way, Jay, you remember Jay? He used to be on sometime.
Yes.
Right, that was my personal friend of 29 years. She passed away right after my husband, so I lost two, two in a month. Yeah, she passed away on the 19th.
Sorry
Yes,
to hear that as well.
yes. So at going to her funeral, one of our colleagues called and you going to the funeral? Yes. And she don't feel like driving her car. And I'm like, I tell her, no, unfortunately, I won't be able to take you. Because nobody wants to drive the car. Everybody, about five people called me to ask me because they know we were close. And I went alone. I didn't want any riders
Yeah.
that day. And because we all live a Rima and it's Port of Spain and somebody's telling me where they will get parking. But so where will I get parking? You know? And that just came to mind. I just said, unfortunately, I won't be able to. I only want to drop the Port of Spain, I'll travel back. Unfortunately, I won't be able to. And I didn't have to give any reason. And I felt so good going by myself that day, coming back by myself. And I even said to one, I said, but if you can't go, it will be streamed on YouTube. You can watch it home, you know. And I had no qualms about saying no, no. Mm-mm. And I think I'll go and pick up a Rima and I'll go and pick you up here. And so that has done good for me, not only for that, but that was an example that I'm able to say, no, I won't be able to, have somebody else do it or whatever. And I think that to me has made a big shift. And the more you do it,
Yes.
it's easier. The
Yes.
first couple times you'll feel, oh God, this is a colleague I work with so much years, and you're saying no to that person and it gets easier. It's just like everything else, like, you're doing weightlifting, you practice, you start small. So it's okay for me now not to put myself out of my way to be taking people all over the place. Well, not only that, but, in that sense. And that has made a big shift for me, saying no, which is a complete sentence.
Yes. I understand. Sometimes and you see, especially with what you are currently experiencing, a lot of things tend to feel really, really heavy, and that is why you really have to prioritize you. And if you see in that moment, listen, because even my sister, when we were going through it, because when my mother passed, she did not used to talk as much. So if you go to her house, because we live very close, if very close family members are there, she would stay in wherever the common places are. But as soon as a neighbor or somebody comes, she would go in her room and she would just lie down quietly and she would not talk. So you see, a lot of times you know what is required for you in that moment, and you see, especially if that is required for you in that moment, then so be it. Because I would just go across there, just lie down on her bed next to her and not talk either. If anyone call, I would take the call outside and then just come back and lie down next to her. But a lot of people, everybody requires something different. And what is required for you right now in the moment is that, and it is okay. So just as you say, you don't have to feel sorry about it. It is what it is. I'm seeing Mr. SGL posted accepting life is what it is. You know, neutrality. What is my ego telling me? Everything is going to be fine, and so on. These are some of the things that have been helping me to do better and be better in my life's journey. That's how I feel about my solo walks in the morning. So, yes. And another thing that you see, accepting, ooh, when you get to that point, a lot of things really feel a lot lighter. Because remember, you're dealing with things as they are. Because for a lot of us, we deal with things with expectations. We expect this, we expect that, we expect this result. And remember, life is not about the smooth road. No, you're going to meet potholes. You're certainly going to meet potholes. You're going to meet rain on the way. You're going to meet, sometimes a dog might run out to bite your foot. You're going to meet a lot of different things on the way. And in the moment, what you really have to do is, you see, everything you're going to get unexpected things. And when the unexpected happens, in the moment, take a breath, pause, ask a question about how to proceed. If you try to proceed from what pattern you have held based on your past, you would recognize a lot of times you would get a lot of unwanted results because that pattern can no longer help you for where you are. Because the future, of course, is unknown, the next moment is unknown. And if you keep trying to live life based on familiar patterns, which are based on your past, which are tied to expectations, then you would continue getting the results that you don't want. And you would be experiencing the same difficulties that you have been experiencing for the past, how much ever years, 23, 24, 25. We are now in 26. So remember, before moving forward, pause, take a breath, ask a question, especially if you have a decision to make or a choice to make, or it is new territory. Pause before you react. Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
I was going to say that sometimes there is healing in solitude, and particularly to Paula. I could relate to you not needing to have a car full of people. Going into a space that you have already had to experience. And as you were talking, I was saying that's why I never thought even about asking anybody to come walk with me. Because even if they walked silently, they would still be in my space. And I'd still be aware, and the things I could enjoy about doing that walk by myself. I could look at the roses, I could look at the trees, I could talk to a bird, I could look down and see a lizard passing and say good morning and smile and go about it. So I could relate to the not wanting to have. I think it goes a little bit more than just the thing of why can't you drive your own car? There's healing in solitude and in that kind of quiet moment where you could just enjoy your own thoughts. So I give you two thumbs up for being able to hold your no and then be able to enjoy yourself at that point in time, however large or however small. Even if you're going on the road and your chair rolls down, you can still enjoy your chair. It's your chair, but you don't have other people in your space. So many times we believe we need to have company, but sometimes our company is just enough because I could really relate to my morning walks now. I do not want to see anybody. I jealously hope nobody one day comes to tell me, can I walk with you? No, it's not gonna happen because I want to just just be. in the space and enjoy the breeze, enjoy everything. Nobody's to talk about their problems because people tend to talk about their problems. They want to talk about their problems. So solitude gives you a measure of healing. And for me, the small adjustments that I was making had to do with family, how I saw family. And I saw family in a particular way, in that if we were not all singing kumbaya, something is wrong and the whole world is falling apart. And you would see how other people are living their lives. And I would take offense. Why this? And particularly since my mother passed. And my mother always used to say, Calf, the family is small, so you have to keep them together. And I took up this responsibility of trying to keep people together. So, birthday, whatever, I'm trying to organize this and organize that. Nobody's coming. Christmas Day, they tell me flat. Oh, we may pass by. And I'm getting disappointed, and my son is saying, "Don't talk to them, don't talk to them. They don't come in here, don't go by them." And I'm saying, "Listen, who wants to see these people? If I want to see people, then I'll make it happen. If I don't want to see anybody, okay, then I'm not going to base my way of living on what other people are doing. They don't invite you to their home. Maybe they don't have the capacity. Maybe they don't know how to entertain. Maybe they feel embarrassed into their situation, or maybe. And so I would make those little changes. In the last 2 years, what I've done is definitely understand that family doesn't mean kumbaya. And we don't have to all be singing kumbaya. We can love each other from afar, let go and let people have their life the way they want to live it. So if they're not looking to get into a family reunion day, that's okay. And the definition of family has expanded. So my neighbors are family. People I work with are family. So I have given up that fierce garden of your family is your blood. And it has helped me to put down some weight. Just put down. It's not 100% yet. I still have one little keg. One little keg. So I'm working on a little keg, and I'm working on that keg, trying to understand that it doesn't have to be, I'm cutting you off. It's just a question of I'm letting go of this particular pit that I've put myself in, and I'm climbing out of it so that I can breathe and I could experience things that maybe I had put off experiencing while I did parenting and all of these different things. And so now was my time. Now was my time. Now was my time. Those are the little adjustments. Yes.
All right, good to note. Anyone else? What are some of the small adjustments that you have made that created big shifts in your life? Anastasia, are you there?
Yes, Anastasia is here.
What are some of the small shifts that created small adjustments, sorry, that created big shifts in your life so far?
Right now, Anastasia is learning to speak up, regardless of who is pleased or displeased. Right now, Anastasia still have some more speaking up to do because, like right now, I'm just feeling so tired and overwhelmed,
Yeah,
and I think I have too much on my plate, and I need to scrape it off. And in order to scrape it off, I will have to tell people some of the things that I do, I would not be able to do it anymore. And yes, because Anastasia is becoming tired.
yeah,
Tired of the weight she's carrying, and I need to lessen some of the load.
okay.
So
That's
yes, even though I have started to do it, I still have more of it to do.
Okay, understood. Okay. Well, it is just about continuing and again at your pace and whenever the time is best for you, make the step and you would be in an okay place. Anyone else? What are some of, because we have all made small adjustments. Because for the answers that you gave at the start of the session, you certainly have been making adjustments to create even bigger shifts. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I think one of the biggest shifts I think I had to make is really understanding the purpose of the mind and knowing how to discern the things that's coming from the mind versus the things that's coming from the soul. I feel like for a very long time I was just going through the motions, like I was saying to Catherine, was just like going through the motions and just thinking that I have to do this to be able to fix this, or I have to try to fix something in order for change to come about, versus allowing the soul to dictate and then kind of just go with the flow and allowing it to be. So for me, I'm still working on that mind and realizing, like, even this morning, I was like, Lisa, you're still doing, you're still thinking you have to do, and you don't have to do anything. So that is a big thing for me that I, continuously work on.
Patricia, are you there?
Yes.
All right. And even for you, what are some of the small adjustments that you were able to make that created some big shifts in your life?
Well, the thing about focusing on you, you know, that you are the center of, 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 of your world and the universe. You are your center. I I was one of these people who everybody else was the center. So I have learned in over the last few lessons in Befitment that you need to focus on you and make you the center, because it's through you others could get helped and so on. And the other issue is one that just was spoken about just now, is to be and not to do. I was always a doer of things. I always had something to do. I didn't understand this thing about you don't have to do all of these things. You don't have to be on these hustles. With the last lessons and befitment I learned, but you don't have to be hustling all over the place. Everything is on out there for you. It's done spoken about and written, and all you have to do is flow like a river. So I've learned that.
Yes. Okay. Very, very good to note. Would anyone else like to give their view on some of the small adjustments they have made that created big shifts? Nikki, are you there? All right, so I guess that she is not very close to her phone at this moment.
What I wanted to say though was, as Patricia was talking and it was before, there's a phrase that I think over time we never really understood what that meant. And we learned it as a comparative thing. And I was talking to someone about 2 days ago, and they were expressing the same concern. Where you give so much of yourself to others. You're looking to try to help others, save others, do things for others, be there for others, and you're coming in a dead last in your own space. And that phrase was love others as you love yourself. And many times, many of us grew up on that phrase. And so we would just try to beat ourselves down flat dead, trying to be everything for everybody. But when I looked at that phrase, and it wasn't the first time that someone explained that phrase to me, and the explanation was that the words were in the right place, but the emphasis was in the wrong spot. Literally, that was the explanation. And it is not a question. If we turn that sentence around, we will see and we will find the comfort in putting yourself first. Because if we turn the sentence around, we will get as you are loving yourself, you can love others. So it would put you first. It would put you in the first place. And then you can see where, if you have extra, it will pass through you to others. But if we keep the emphasis on others, love others as you love yourself, then it turns it into a sort of comparative situation. And it's not comparative, it's a continuous action. So it's not the way you treat yourself, treat other people. It's treat you first. Be there for you first. And then, so it comes like pouring from your saucer instead of your cup. You have to be full enough to be able to help anybody or give off anything to anybody. Because if you are down and out and you're down, you're wet rag and you're dragged out, what can you really give anybody? They will move on to somewhere where they're getting something. I mean, a root will try to find water. It wouldn't go looking for more dirt because it needs water to sustain itself. So those kinds of adjustments really help when we understand that we come first. You have to look at yourself first. And particularly for women or people who are caregivers, we tend to give ourselves last. But it really has to be first. And that is a lesson I had to first understand and then try to apply it. So sometimes I still find myself wanting to go in a particular direction, but then I have to remember, understand what the sentence meant. As you are loving yourself, as you are in the process of loving yourself and doing things for yourself and loving up on yourself, okay, you can also give that to others. It's never about others. So I just wanted to share that little shift in that sentence that made a big impact for me. And it came back the other day when I was talking to this particular guy, and I shared it with him because it came at the moment. So I'm sharing it again tonight because it came at the moment. But it really is about you.
Yes, because remember, the world that you are a part of is your world. Even though it might be a shared experience, it is your world. And you see, within your world, it is necessary that you have a productive mindset, because in doing so, that is what would simplify all the actions. So even in Paula's place, as part of her productivity for today was rested, because productivity is also part of rest. If you are not, you know for yourself, if you are not well rested, you are miserable, you are overthinking, you are irritable. What can you get done when you're feeling like that? You really can't get much done, and then at the end of the day, you would recognize, today I was just spinning. I really didn't get anything done. I should have spent the time getting some rest. And after you spend the time getting some rest, then you start over. Because even for me, listen, I don't know what happens to me. You're reaching your 30s and you need to sleep so much more. I don't know what it is. to me, like every 2 steps I make, I need to sleep. And this is new because before, in your 20s, I would be able to get up, go San Fernando, come back home 4 o'clock, now eat. Now I do that. I have a migraine for the next day. You're dehydrated, all the edges of my lips starting to crack and blister because you didn't drink no water. It's like everything is hit you quick fast. So now you really have to pause, especially for me, and focus. And I tell you, once I go run, do something, I have to take a nap before I can proceed forward. And I would always see my father sleeping every day by 1 o'clock. Now I'm beginning to understand why that is because listen to me. You get to your 30s and I don't know what has happened. And the tiny shifts that you have been creating, it really would have a big impact because you see now you understand things a lot more differently and you have a deeper understanding. Even for me, you need to sleep. But in a lot of other areas, so you would understand how to apply things better. And let me tell you, once you start, you would recognize, once you put, I remember we were told in a meeting once you put what you all start from putting what you already have in order. And once you start from that point, everything else flows from there. Once you start from putting what you already have in order, everything else flows from there. Because when things are in order, you would see what is required. You see, when things are all over the place, you don't know what the next step is, you don't know where to start. You don't know where you're going from here. But once you put the things in order, you would recognize, oh, okay. This going here, this going here, this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. And you will be able to put the things in order. But if you don't start from that space, you would still encounter some difficulty. And even as you are continuing, what are some of the steps that you could put in place to build momentum without burning out? Because yes, you have been making small adjustments, but what are you doing to ensure that you are not burnt out? Are you all doing as Paula is doing right now and recognizing, okay, I need to rest in this moment, or even me recognizing, okay, Adana, you need to sleep before you proceed forward? Like, what are some of these steps that you have been putting in place to ensure? Because even for Patricia, when she was talking about you don't have to be busy running up and down the place. So what do you do to ensure that you no longer continue forward with that pattern? Anyone?
To me, you have to, you would have a whole long list of things that you want to do, or goals, or you want to meet, but you can't meet all. So you have to prioritize the things. What things are more important at this time for you to get on with? You may have to make adjustments in the future based on changes in the environment and so on. But to me, one of the things you need to do is to know what comes first, what comes in some order. As you say, you have to put things in order, but you have to have some kind of contextual framework to put your thing in order. And it has to be around you.
Yes. Most definitely. Putting things in order really does make a big difference, eh? I tell you, when you put things in order, you start to see the steps. They start to really reveal themselves. But once you're in a space and everything all over the place, is a totally different experience. Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
For me, is operating without feeling guilty. Where in the past, you do something and you're thinking and this and that, and you're thinking on all these different things, and something will bang you over the head if you didn't do so and so, or you must do so and so. Now is just, this is what it is. Let's go do it. If you do not want to do it, you're not going to do it. If you're feeling a certain way, you're going to examine that and, like, on a Sunday. Yesterday, I would usually be somewhere. But I knew I had a lot of things on my plate that I wanted to deal with before the week started. And once the week started, it may not be as easy to get those things done. And I prioritize them as being important. And so I did not go to where I'd normally go on a Sunday. And before, that would be such a big deal for me. I'd be wondering, if lightning would strike me down. But after a while, now it's a question of, it's okay. There's no lightning that's going to strike it out. And I am going forward with that momentum, that kind of thinking, in that in the moment you make a decision and you stand by it. You don't have to go and worry about, and even if somebody is offended, if something else, let it see where it's going to be. It's going to be all right. Because once I know that I'm all right, I have made a decision. And so those are the things that I'm working on, to not go back into the old thing of second guessing and feeling badly about it, and make a decision, stay with it, and go with the flow. After that, go and lie down and rest, because resting is important. Yes. That is mini breaks during the day, Adana. Keep you going. So it's all right. It's all right. You're talking about 2 days. Wait till you get to 6 days. Then you need to just schedule them in wherever, because those breaks help you to refresh. And it might not be, for me, it might not be um, going to sleep, but it may be just getting up from the desk and going and pull some weeds, just walking outside, and just walking outside, watching my birds as they fly past. And for me, that's good. So that is what I'm doing, building on, going forward, knowing that you make a decision, it's okay. No lightning is coming out of the sky to strike me down there.
Okay. Anastasia, I'm seeing that you have your mic on.
That is a mistake.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted
Sorry.
to say something. Okay.
Okay.
Paula, yes, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes, my spin on it is, and as Catherine said, when you reach their 60s, and for me, recently, the loss, well, I call it a loss in a sense, or at least those persons not around anymore. People say life is short, and I have to say life is short. Coming to the latter part of last year when I realized that, his health was failing, it's as though I put everything on hold, and you all know I like to travel and so on. And I'm saying no. Last Wednesday I went and paid her. I'm going to be in Panama by the end of April. And I hope to go St. Martin by September. So it's like, just as Catherine said, just do something. Lightning is not going to strike if you didn't do what you're accustomed doing. So moving forward now, life is short. And according to her, as you reach into the 60s, and you realize that other persons, your friends are going and so on, and we have less time ahead than that went before us. So for me, whatever I feel to do, I mean, not throwing caution to the wind, but of course, whatever I want to experience, I'm not holding back. Right? My children are grown, you know, so I don't have the cross watermark, so you don't have to worry about them. They will have their part and their lives to live. So I'm no longer smothering, before you tend to want to make sure everything is in order and they go to, but according to a lady the other day, we were chatting, and a few of them were talking about in the night, the children don't want to wash the wares and whatever. And another one advice, she say, when you leave and you go, there will still be wares in the kitchen to wash. So and when I heard that analogy, I say, that's so good because you'll be quiet. I mean, yes, you want to have a clean kitchen every night and so on. And she said she's there arguing with the children, they don't want to wash the wares and things. And the other lady simply said, here now, when you are gone, there will still be wares in the kitchen to be washed. You know, so I leave it at that. I'm just doing whatever I want to do now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 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 yes. So, guys, I hope that, wait, before I move on, does anyone else have anything that they would like to add as it relates to tonight's topic? No? All right. So I hope that you know that moving forward, you are able to continue making these small adjustments because, looking out at life, we always think we have to go and do this big, elaborate, fancy, whatever it is. And no, everything starts from these small steps, these small, consistent steps. So even if you miss a day this week, that's fine. You start again tomorrow, but ensure that you're making the steps and ensure that the steps are consistent. And just as Paula explained, the more you do it, the easier it will become. Because remember, life belongs to you. Paula's life does not belong to Catherine. What works for Catherine will not work for Lystra, and what works for Lystra would not work for Anastasia, and it is okay. A mango cannot be an orange cannot be a blueberry cannot be a mango. So you really have to find your fit within the whole scheme of things. Find what works for you. When you get up in the morning, remember, before you run to whatever the pattern was for the past 10 years, before you do that, you ask yourself, what is required for you today? Then proceed forward. When you get up in the morning, if you spend a little quiet time before you get off the bed and you go to be part of the rat race once again, ask yourself, what is required for you today? What was required yesterday is not what is required today. If you are here and today rest, even though you scheduled to probably go and run a 5K, you might still go and run the 5K and end up in difficulties, and the ambulance might have to take you home to rest or to the hospital to rest. So before you get to that point, pay attention to is the, what is the information you are receiving for you. And some of us be receiving the information for years. I can't even say days or months or weeks. You're receiving the same information for years. And you are still not proceeding forward. So pay attention to what is required for you before moving forward. And I know every week, I come on and I read what the schedule we have on the schedule for this week. But guys, these sessions during the week, for those who do log on during the week, they would be able to tell you these sessions are very, very deep. So whereas I always say, Mondays are very light and, we come on, we chat and stuff. But you see, during the week, if you really want deeper wisdom on how to move forward, these sessions are really there to support you through it. And trust me, you do not understand until you have joined a session. And if you are not ready to fully commit, you can WhatsApp us and tell us that you would like to be part, because we do have an option where you can try it out for 7 days. And then you could always make the decision to move forward with it. But try it, please. You do not understand until you have tried it, because it is a very, very, very different experience. Because what is happening on a Monday is just us opening the door for everything else that is to come during the week. And again, remember, Befitment have these sessions for you to support you through whatever you may be experiencing and whatever difficulty you might have to overcome. And then now you're realizing the difficulty is not so difficult anymore. The difficulty is really not so difficult, because now you have the tools. You could refer to this, you could refer to that, you could go on the app. So think about, especially for 2026, think about joining the sessions during the week, because I am telling you all, and try it for, if you would like to try it for a short time, try it for that period, and you would understand what I am telling you all about. So tonight, of course, we discuss small adjustments, create big shifts. Tomorrow, of course, from 10, we have counseling and consultations. From 6, we would be looking at self-awareness as a performance tool, truly seeing patterns before trying to change them, which is important because before you can change anything, you need to understand it. Then from 7, we have our Befit Fuel and Flexible Body Workout sessions. On Wednesday from 10, we have counseling and consultations. Then from 6, we would be looking at raising personal standards, ownership, self leadership, and growth expectations. On Thursday from 10, we have counseling and consultations again. And then from 6, we will be discussing skill application under pressure. Life and role improvement only counts when applied. Because, yes, you might be learning what is required, but how are you applying it into your daily life? Then from 7, we have the Be Fit Fuel and Flexible Body Workout sessions. And on Friday, we have counseling and consultations. And then from 3, we have Free to Be, where you can celebrate, relax, restore, and unwind. Of course, by appointments only. On Saturday, the 14th of February, counseling and consultations. And then from 3, the Balance Center would be closed. So, what are you all doing for Valentine's Day? Are you taking yourself out? Are you going to the beach? Are you going to buy yourself some ice cream, some chocolate? I hope that you all are doing something, exciting. I need to find something to do as well. Yes, Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes, I was going to add the 7 day pass is a taste of befitment, the fullness of befitment. And so it doesn't only give you this is my sales hat on here. It doesn't only give you access to the deep dive discussions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which really put some flesh onto the Monday conversations, but it affords you the benefits of a premium member so that you can taste the fullness of befitment and to see whether you want to fully go in that direction. So the fitness thing, the access to the library, go on the website and read all the different things that you will actually get a taste of without having to commit first. And then you will really see that take that 7 day pass, use it well. And if you want to pause in the 7 days, you just let us know you want to pause so that you can come back in. But it really gives you a taste of all that you could get out of Befitment, because Befitment is here for you in a full way. So we do encourage you, take that opportunity and come on in on the classes. You can join in on the fitness. There are many things. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yes. And guys, thank you. Next week in Trinidad, there is, of course, Carnival. So we will not be on Monday, and we're not on Tuesday either. The information will be confirmed via the schedule this upcoming weekend. So for those who are in Trinidad, please be safe, please have fun, and see you all back next week. For those who are outside of Trinidad, well, we will not be on Monday, and of course, I will be seeing some of you during the week. So we would certainly be there Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, still to be confirmed. And have a wonderful week. Be safe and continue making the small adjustments and creating the major shifts. Remember, guys, 2026, you could still say we kind of just start, we still, yeah. So continue, just make the steps, and you would see yourself in a totally different place by the end of the year. Have a wonderful night, have a wonderful week, be safe, and see you all next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.